Favorite part of the job right here.
Almost sounds insincere.
No, it was very sincere.
How's Jared's like?
Jared has had an excellent spring. Really sharp. You guys have seen it. He's made some throws this spring that have been impressive. We're doing some new things offensively, and he has embraced this system and has done very, very well with really just going out there and executing it. He's done very, very well this spring.
When you got into your veteran years playing, was it the same situation where you kind of was able to have the opportunity to take notice of the offense, sit down, hey, these are the things that I do well, I'm right. Did you ever get that opportunity to sit down with the offense and go, hey, let's kind of maybe build this thing in my vision? Like
to a degree, probably not as much as has happened here. Jared and Ben spent a lot of time together and talking about different concepts, things that Jared has had that has been successful with in his past, not only with the Rams but here last year. So that I think the coordinator and the starting quarterback, whenever they can spend time together, and I think it just helps everybody. It certainly has helped us this spring.
You've seen that translate on the field, obviously.
Yes, I'm not. Listen, when I say he's had an excellent spring, I'm not kidding. You know, he really has done very well with the learning, his work ethic. He comes out here and he works. He puts the time in. It's very, very important to him, and just his ability to throw the ball. I mean, he has elite arm talent, and it's been fun to watch. I think he's in a great place right now. Just from last year to this year, he's better at every aspect of his game as a professional. I mean, he's killing it, man. He really is. Really proud of him.
Or did you feel last year that he had a good spring?
I would say this year is better. Just being more sharp, understanding what we're doing. Having been here a year, we're doing a lot of the same concepts, and so just adding on another year to what we did last year and things that he did very, very well. He's looked really good.
How close is the competition for the backup?
Well, that's a good question. It's probably a question for our offensive coordinator and head coach, but they are battling. Two real smart guys, two guys that are certainly capable of being in that 2 spot. And training camp will be interesting, but yeah, they're battling it out pretty hard and work very, very well together. I have a good room. I'm very fortunate.
What have you done differently to keep those guys prepared? I mean, last year we saw Boyle have to get in the fire and play with it.
Yeah, they all had to play, didn't they? And that's the job of a quarterback in a supporting role. You do not know when your time's coming, so you have to stay ready. And that's what I love about David and Timmy so much, is that at any moment, if they had to step in, they would do just fine. They really would.
Where do you see Jared's confidence right now, and how big of a role does that play?
I'd say his confidence is at an all-time high. I really would. I mean, he is the leader of this offense, leader of this team. He is in command when he's out there. He understands what we're trying to do, and he's done very well. It's the best place I've seen him in. Not only been with him, you know, a little over a year now, but I just like where our quarterback's at. And that's just not me. That's the team, the coaches. Again, he's done very well.
Does that confidence trickle down a little bit at all sometimes to the rest of the team, or?
Yeah, listen. When you've got a good quarterback, you know you've got a chance. You've got a really good chance. And so we're all sitting here right now knowing that we have a quarterback that can win games for us. That gets everybody excited, especially the quarterback coach.
How important is that comfort level to his all-time confidence, you know?
Yes, they go hand in hand. And you know, when you're prepared and the things that you're doing offensively you have had success with before, that gets you confident. You know, hopefully we can get off to a fast start early on, win some games, do some good things on the field offensively, score some points. And then our hope is as the season goes on, we're just getting more and more confident as we go. But it certainly does start at the quarterback position.
Where Tim and David evolved the most, I think they've gotten their chances as a result of wins. But where do you see that progression where they can get to that point?
Get to what point?
Where they could step in, you guys have confidence that
we're there right now. Yeah, that's why they're here. That's why David and Tim are here, is because we've had confidence in them since the beginning. And you know, you just don't bring guys back just to bring them back because they were here last year. You bring them back because you feel they have the ability to be solid backups. And so, yeah, we have a lot of confidence. And listen, they're going to need a good training camp, like Jared will too. And but as far as spring is concerned, I know, speaking for myself, I'm very pleased with that room.
You had a long, successful career. You reflected all on that with Jared to say maybe this is the start of the next chapter and look back at your journey?
We do a little bit, yes. Yeah, he's and he's been around a while, you know. He knows what it's supposed to look like. He knows what it means to be a professional at that position. The demands on him, the requirements, unless you're in those shoes, you have no idea. And it's a lot. It's a lot to carry a team. And but I think he's done a very, very good job with it.
Is there a point you look back on in your career where maybe you had a season like you did last year, or a time where it didn't feel as great, or people?
Oh, I had a lot of those years that didn't feel great. Yeah. You play long enough, you're gonna have to go through it. But we compare notes at times, and I think there have been some times where he's gone through something last year, and where I can certainly identify with that, because it can get tough. Especially after those tough games, you keep battling, you learn from your mistakes, you move forward, and just try to become a better quarterback. And he's done that.
Obviously,
The great thing about, I'm sorry, I want to say this about Jared, but he's taken the team to a Super Bowl. He's been a starting quarterback for quite a while now, but yet he is still very coachable. Like when he makes a mistake, he owns it. He's like, man, I got to clean that up. He's listening to Coach Johnson. He's listening to Dan, and I think he's doing a great job. He has a measure of humility about him that some people might be surprised with, but it's not the case, man. He knows that there are areas of his game that can improve, and he's working to do that. And that was really the purpose of this spring. Here are the areas we want you to get better at, and on each of them, he has made progress, which is fun. It's fun to see.
What were those?
In-house.
How about the deep ball last year, maybe in part because of wide receivers, in part maybe because of his limitations? How much of that is with your receivers now, he has an opportunity to hone in on that part of his game?
Yes, and listen, for us to be successful, we feel like we have to push the ball down the field better than we did last year, and we've talked about it. And we've talked about it quite a bit. We've watched a lot of tape, a lot of study, and we are seeing the benefits of it this spring, and something that we'll continue to work on. But we have a really good receiver room, and it's one of the things that Jared, he probably has told you guys how excited he is right now. Probably the most excited he's been probably in a long time, because he loves the guys around him. We have a great O-line. Our running backs are solid. Receiving core is great. So, heck, if you're a quarterback of the Detroit Lions and you look around and you have all these pieces in place, you really start looking forward to the season.
Every offensive player that we've talked to so far seems to sing really high praises for Ben Johnson. Have you what's your experience been like working with him so far?
He's a very good teacher, and he's a very good communicator. He's been around, I think, 10, 11 years now. He's seen a lot of football. He's been with some good coaches, and he himself is a very, very good coach. He's got a bright future, and as far as what we're doing this offseason, as far as our offense is concerned, we're all thrilled about it. He's a good coach. I've learned a lot from him just in the last 2 years, just being around him. He can coach any position on offense, and I just like the communication, the leadership coming from him has been impressive.
Do you have any observations on his relationship with Jared and how that's kind of evolved?
Well, I think I mentioned it, the fact that they talk a lot, and they communicate on different ideas and concepts, and Jared is open to learning new things, which he should be, but at the same time, Ben is also listens to Jared on a certain concept. Hey, what do you think about putting him on a choice route? Hey, great idea. So they're working very well together, which is fun.
Guys, time for two more.
So you sort of mentioned it, just sort of the depth in the receiver room and Jared's confidence. But,
Yes.
I mean, he's doing this out here without Jameson Williams and without DJ Chark in a lot of those practices. When you think about adding those two, who are probably expected to be two of the top 3 wide receivers, where can this offense get to?
Well, I think the sky's the limit for us. As you got to stay healthy, and you're going to be in some tough environments, facing some tough teams, specifically in our division. But we're gonna, at least my approach and what I've talked to the quarterbacks about, is that we're not thinking about the Packers or the Vikings down the road. We're thinking about starting off training camp right, competing and taking it one day at a time. And those games will come soon enough. But in order for us to have success down the road when we face those tough opponents, man, it starts day one, attacking the first day and being the best you can, and then you move on to the second one. And then you build and build. We'll have some preseason games in there. And but guys are, I know it sounds crazy, but guys are excited about getting back to training camp, and they're going to enjoy their break. They'll have a few weeks off and get away a little bit. But I expect on offense, and I know the quarterbacks can't wait to get back here and compete and really just go try to win some ball games.
Talk about drawing on some of his past experiences, the Super Bowl, things like that. Is there an art to maybe turning those things into a positive, or are there guys who could turn, maybe a season like last year into a negative?
Well, listen, when we talk about last year, and Jared finished well. He finished really well. You look at his statistics, we won some games, and so going into this offseason, there was a little bit of momentum. And early part of the year, it was tough. We were really trying to find our way, but I thought we got into a little bit of a rhythm halfway through and did some good things, and we're building off that. There's a lot to learn from last year, and we've done that. We've looked at those clips. We've talked about the self-scout and areas that we need to improve on. And so I at some point, as soon as we start training camp, I think last year will be a distant memory. We talked about those things this spring, but going forward, 2021, we've moved on from that, which is a good thing.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, easy. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.